Welcome to the Stories for Kids podcast by Calbert Collins.
Are you kids touching my podcast?
No.
I'm coming in there.
Mia, quick, push on the button.
What are you kids doing?
Nothing.
Why don't we just read a story?
Yay!
All right, welcome to the Stories for Kids podcast. This is another Christmas edition. And James and Mia, can you say hi? James, can you say hi?
Hi.
Where are we, James? Who are we here to see?
Santa Claus.
Yeah, we're waiting in line to take our picture with Santa Claus. Come here, you gotta come over here and talk. What are you gonna ask Santa for, Mia? Playset from Frozen. James, what are you gonna ask Santa for?
Cars.
Cars. All right. What do you see? Well, look at that elf, James. What happened to that elf?
He fell.
Well, can I ask you guys a question? Are you on the nice list or the naughty list?
Nice.
Well, James, are you on nice list or naughty list?
Nice.
The nice list. Today's story is called The Naughty List. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Are you guys ready to begin?
Yes. Start the story.
The Naughty List, written by Russell Corey. Calbert Collins was the nicest kid you could ever hope to know. If you forgot your lunch money, he'd gladly share his lunch with you. If anyone ever sat on the I need a buddy bench on the playground, Calbert was the first kid to sit down next to them. In fact, every year in school when they voted for the nicest kid in class, Calbert always won, hands down. So you can imagine Calbert's surprise when he saw his name on Santa Claus's naughty list. That's right, Calbert Collins, a kid that would get soaking wet in the rain because he would give you his own umbrella if you didn't have one, was not getting any toys for Christmas because he, however unbelievable that it was on the naughty list. But let's back up a bit. All the way to the North Pole, 2 months before Christmas in October. Now, if there is anyone you don't have to tell how to do their job, it's Santa Claus. He's been going around the world delivering presents to all the good little boys and girls since anyone can remember, and doing a pretty good job of it, by the way. But Skransky the elf thought he could improve Santa's job performance if only Santa would use his brand new state-of-the-art cloud-based high-tech computer tablet. Oh, Skransky, Santa would say, I don't need a computer. I have everything I need right up here in my head. But Santa, I believe by digitizing Christmas and having it all available on my latest and greatest touchscreen tablet, you can improve delivery time on Christmas by 50%. And look, you have everything you need right here on the main menu. The recipe to make food that lets the reindeers fly, right here. Touch that and every ingredient you need is listed in the exact amount needed. And on the map section, it updates with all the weather reports from around the world to make sure the route you're taking won't be delayed by any bad storms. And if there is bad weather, it automatically redirects you to a quicker route. And no more getting lost on your way back to the North Pole if you run into clouds or fog. All you have to do is push this Take Me to the North Pole button, and no matter where you are in the world, it will show you the way home to your workshop and automatically take you there. And here's the best part, Santa. You can even access the naughty and nice list right from the tablet. Just search whatever child's name you're looking for, and it instantly tells you if they're naughty or nice. And it updates in real time, so you know you're always current with who's been good or bad. And if you want to see the whole list, you can do that too. See? Wait a minute. Why is the naughty list so much longer than the nice list? Usually it's the other way around. There's so many more good boys and girls than bad ones. Oh my goodness, there's a glitch. The tablet has switched the list, so all the naughty kids are on the nice list and all the nice kids are on the naughty list. Oh, that's just a simple data programming fix, Santa. Thank goodness we have 2 months before Christmas. I can fix that. See, when I type my name Skransky in, I come up on the naughty list, Santa, so you know it's wrong, right? I mean, I'm not on the naughty list, am I, Santa? No, Skransky, you're definitely not a naughty little elf. I mean, look how hard you've worked to make this tablet to make my job easier. You're welcome, Santa. Anything I can do to improve Christmas, I'm happy to do it. But here's the thing, Skransky. Old Saint Nick, I like doing things the old-fashioned way. Santa, won't you at least try to use the tablet? Look, you can control your sleigh right from the computer tablet. It's a touch screen. How about if you just take one practice run and see how you like it? Oh, I suppose one practice run wouldn't be so bad. It's the least I could do for all your hard work. It's all I ask, Santa. Just try it once, and if you don't like it, fine. Do Christmas the old-fashioned way. But I think you're gonna love it. Okay, well, how does this thing work? Well, first, Santa, we need to set up a passcode for you. Otherwise, anyone could pick up your tablet and start using it. What would you like the password to be? Oh, I always forget my passwords. Could I just think of one after the test? Okay, but don't wait too long. And don't lose the tablet, because if you lose it with no passcode on it, all the secrets to the North Pole will be available to anyone that knows how to use a tablet. I promise I'll take very good care of it, and I won't try to break it. Oh, you could never break this, Santa. I've made it stronger than anything. A reindeer could step on it and it wouldn't break. Or if it slid off someone's roof and hit their driveway, it wouldn't break when it hit the ground. You can even get it wet and it'll work just fine. Okay, well, let's make sure you have the recipe to make the animals fly correctly. I mean, we don't want a mistake on that, like how you switched the naughty and nice list, and you are going to fix that, right? Oh, yes, Santa. As soon as you get back from your test, I'll switch those naughty kids back to the naughty list and put the nice kids back on the nice list. Well, good, because there'd be a lot of sad little boys and girls waking up on Christmas morning with no Christmas gifts after being good all year. Well, I wouldn't want that to happen, Santa. No, sir. Santa and Skransky followed the flying food recipe listed on the tablet and fed Santa's reindeer with the food that they had made. Santa then hooked up the reindeer to his sled and pushed the start button on the tablet. Wish me luck, Skransky, Santa said as the reindeer started to lift up in the air, pulling Santa and his sleigh with them. You won't need luck, Santa, not with my computer tablet. At first, the tablet worked great. Santa hardly had to do anything that night as the sleigh flew around the world. Because Christmas was still 2 months away, he didn't go down any chimneys delivering presents. He was just seeing how long it was going to take to do his delivery route with the tablet guiding him in this new way. Santa even started to use his fingers to steer the sleigh with the tablet. Hey, this is kind of fun. Just then, Santa let out a sneeze and his finger slid all over the computer tablet screen. Because Santa had the sleigh controls active on the computer tablet, the sleigh thought Santa's sliding fingers was telling it which way to go, which was going crazy in all directions. The sleigh went up, and then it went down, and then it went upside down and right side up. It went fast, and then it went slow, and then it didn't go no mo. The sleigh stopped in midair, and Santa was thrust forward. Luckily, Santa always wears his seatbelt in the sleigh, but the computer tablet wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and when Santa Claus jerked forward and stopped, the tablet fell out of his hands and tumbled down through the clouds and onto the ground below. Oh no, the tablet! I have to find it! Santa took over flying the sleigh manually and guided the sleigh toward the ground and searched on rooftops and yards of the houses he was near to see where the tablet might have landed. But there was no sign of it anywhere, and the sun was starting to come up. Oh, reindeer, my furry flying friends, old Santa really did it this time. I have to find that tablet, but with the sun coming up, it'll be daylight soon, and people will be able to see me flying my sleigh. In fact, anyone with a cell phone could take video of me and put it on the internet. I could go viral, and that can't happen. I'm afraid I have to go back to the North Pole without the tablet. Santa then turned the sleigh around and headed back to his workshop. When Santa landed, Skransky ran up to greet him. How'd it go, Santa? Wasn't it much easier to do with my tablet? Skransky, my dear elf friend, I have some bad news. Old Kris Kringle accidentally lost your tablet." "What? We have to find it immediately, Santa." "We can't. It's morning in the town where I dropped it, and people would be able to see us searching for it. We'll go back there tonight when it's dark again." Meanwhile, back in Calbert Collins' bedroom, he was just waking up on that Saturday, October morning. The leaves were beginning to fall, and Calbert's parents asked him to rake the front yard before he went out and played with his friends. Calbert, being a nice boy, always did what his parents asked and grabbed a rake and started to rake the leaves that were covering the front yard into a pile. While Calbert was doing that, he noticed something in a big bush. It was a computer tablet, but none like he had ever seen before. Instead of being silver or black like his mom's iPad, it was green and red and smelled a bit like candy canes. And at the top of the tablet was written, "Property of Santa Claus." Santa Claus? Christmas was 2 months away, Calbert thought. Why would someone be putting up Christmas decorations so early? And why would they be putting up in his front yard? But this computer tablet didn't look like an ordinary Christmas decoration. In fact, it looked more like a real tablet than a decoration. Calbert touched the screen to see what would happen, and the computer tablet turned on, and Calbert saw the main menu. There were buttons for how to make flying animal food, maps to deliver the toys, Christmas music, toy production updates, and a translator that would help you say ho 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 in any language around the world, and a button that interested Calbert the most, the Naughty and Nice List button. This can't really be Santa's computer tablet, Calbert thought to himself. But if it was, Calbert would be on the database for kids. If this was just a silly decoration that someone made up, they surely wouldn't have taken the time to put his name on that list if it was fake. So Calbert started to type his name in the search window for the Naughty and Nice List. Then he pressed the search button, and there he saw it. Calbert Collins, the Naughty List. What? How could that be? Calbert couldn't even think of the last time he did something wrong. He always did the right thing. Always. Calbert typed his name in again and searched it again. And once more, Calbert Collins came up on the Naughty List. This time it even listed his correct address, so he knew he wasn't making a mistake in thinking it was another Calbert Collins and not him. Nope, it was definitely him, and he was right there smack dab on Santa Claus's naughty list. Well, Calbert thought, I just have to start being nicer in order for me to get off the naughty list. Calbert was going to tell his mom and dad about what he had found and give the tablet to them to take care of. But what if it really was Santa Claus's computer tablet? They couldn't very well give it back to him at the North Pole, and you can't exactly call Santa up and tell him you found his computer tablet. Still, Calbert knew the right thing to do would be to tell his mom and dad and give them the tablet regardless. But Calbert couldn't get over the fact that he was on the naughty list. He had to get himself off that list, and once he checked it and saw that he was off the naughty list, then he would turn the tablet over to his parents, and they could turn in to the police for the lost and found. Let's see, Calbert thought. Once I complete my chore of raking the front yard, I should be off the naughty list. Nice kids always do the chores like their parents asked them. Calbert finished raking the front yard and then checked the list again. Oh no, he was still on the naughty list despite raking all the leaves. Calbert thought. Miss Perkins next door is too old to rake her own front yard. Why don't I do it for her for free, and that will surely get me off the naughty list. So despite being tired and sore from raking his own front yard, Calbert went next door and raked Miss Perkins' front yard as well. And when she tried to pay him, he refused to take the money, saying he was doing it as a good deed. Afterward, his arms were so tired from all that raking, he barely had enough energy to check on his status on the naughty list again. But Calbert still typed in his name and hit search. Once again, he was still listed as being naughty. You know what, Calbert thought? Maybe it will just update the next day. So Calbert took the computer tablet inside his bedroom and hid it away. and made sure to be on his best behavior for the rest of that day. He cleaned up his room, he took out the trash, he cleaned up all the dog poops in the backyard from their 3 dogs, he ate all his food at lunch and dinner, and didn't sneak any snacks all day. He made sure to say please and thank you, and waited patiently with no complaints when he had to. He even drew pictures for his parents, telling them how much he loved them, just because he did. Calbert's parents gave him a big hug and told him how lucky they were as parents to have his child as nice as he was. That night, Calbert went to sleep early, in hopes of waking up and seeing his name finally on the nice list in the morning. Calbert woke up the next day, even before the alarm clock went off. Was it all a dream, he thought? Did I just imagine or dream up finding Santa Claus's computer tablet? Calbert got out of bed and checked the hiding spot that he had hidden the computer tablet in. And there it was. He wasn't dreaming or imagining it at all. There was the computer tablet with property of Santa Claus written at the top. Right away, Calbert checked the naughty list. And he was still on it. What? How could that be? After all the good things he did yesterday, he was still on the naughty list? Oh no. Calbert wasn't happy, but he still had 2 months to get on the nice list and get Christmas presents for Christmas this year. In school, Calbert was even nicer than he usually was. He was really good at math, so he helped all the kids in math that struggled a little bit with it. And then after dinner at home, he always cleaned off the table and loaded the dirty plates in the dishwasher without even being asked. And not only did Calbert keep his room spotlessly clean, he made sure the whole house was cleaned up by putting away toys and throwing away trash. But as the weeks went by, Calbert, no matter what he did, stayed on the naughty list. Nothing he ever did was good enough to move him off that naughty list and onto the nice list. Then came the day he helped save his friend James from a group of bullies. James was playing with his ball in the park when Calbert saw the meanest kid in town, Tommy Tusco, take it away. Tommy and his mean friends then played keep away from James, who was trying desperately to get his ball back. Calbert knew he had to do the right thing and went down and confronted Tommy and his mean friends. "Hey, give James back his ball." "Or what?" Tommy said. "Just give him back his ball. It isn't nice to take things that aren't yours." "But he gave it to me. Isn't that right, James?" Tommy then glared at James, and if James said the wrong thing, Tommy was going to clobber him. "I guess you can have it," said James, afraid that Tommy was going to hit him any moment if he told the truth. "See, the ball's mine, not James," Tommy said. "You're just bullying him into saying that. Give him the ball back, Tommy." Tommy and his bully friends surrounded Calbert. "Make me, Calbert." Calbert grabbed the ball and threw it to James. "Go, James, run." James, who was one of the quickest kids in school, ran with the ball as the bully kids chased after him. Tommy looked at Calbert with the meanest stare you could imagine. Then Tommy pushed Calbert to the ground. "You're lucky I don't pound your head in. You guys forget the ball. We got better things to do." Tommy and his bully friends left the park, and James came back to see how Calbert was. "Thank you for sticking up for me, Calbert. That was very brave of you. You really are the nicest kid in the world, Calbert." "Yeah, right. That's why I'm on Santa's naughty list." "Calbert, you can't be on Santa's naughty list. Everyone loves you. You do the right thing all the time at school and at home. If anyone's on the nice list, it's gotta be you." "Well, I'm not." "Come on, Calbert. How do you know that?" "Because I found Santa's computer tablet." "Calbert, don't lie. It's not like you." "I'm not lying, James. And if you promise not to tell anyone, I'll show you the tablet." So James went back to Calbert's house, and Calbert took Santa's computer tablet out of its hiding spot. James was not impressed. "That's just a regular computer tablet that you painted green and red, and then you put property of Santa Claus at the top. That doesn't make it Santa Claus's tablet." "Oh, you don't think so? Then who programmed all these kids' names into it?" Calbert then showed James the list of every kid in the world. The list went on for page after page after page, And that was just all the kids named Adam, Andy, and Alicia. They never even got to the B's. There's got to be millions of kids on there, Calbert. That's right, James. That's how Santa keeps track of us. And he knows exactly who's on the naughty list and who's on the nice list. And right now, I'm on the naughty list. See? Calbert put his name in the search box and hit return. Yep, Calbert Collins, naughty list. How can that be? You just stuck up to the worst bully in town for me. That's the nicest thing anyone's done for me all year. Hey, go talk to Santa, because apparently nothing I do is ever good enough to get on the nice list. Calbert, you're the nicest kid anyone knows. If you're not on the nice list, then what about me? Well, good question. Let's see. Calbert then typed James's name in and his address and hit return. James was on the naughty list as well. I'm on the naughty list too. Oh no, I'm not getting any toys at all this year. Well, wait, there's still time. I just have to be super good from now until Christmas. I have to get home and pick up my room right away. Forget it, James. It won't help. Nothing I did ever got me off the list. Even sticking up for you against Tommy Tusco. Huh, Tommy Tusco, James said. If anyone's on the naughty list, you know he is. Yeah, I'm sure that bully is right at the top. Hey, put his name in there. Maybe there's a super naughty list and only the kids on the super naughty list don't get toys. Because we all do naughty things at some point. I mean, no one is perfect, right? Maybe it's just the really bad kids that really aren't going to get toys. Calbert typed Tommy Tusco's name in the search box and hit enter. But neither Calbert nor James were prepared for what they saw next. Tommy Tusco, nice list. What? Tommy Tusco is on the nice list? That can't be. But there it was. They did it 3 more times and made sure his address was correct. But every time they searched Tommy's name, he was always on the nice list. This made James and Calbert sad and angry. How could Santa be this unfair? It was as if all the nice kids were on the naughty list and all the naughty kids were on the nice list. Oh, if only Santa and Skransky the elf were there to explain it to James and Calbert, that this was all just a computer glitch, and that both James and Calbert were really on the nice list, and it was Tommy Tusco and his bully friends that were on the naughty list. But they weren't there, so James and Calbert kept believing they were both on the naughty list and not getting any toys. It's just not fair, Calbert. I know it's not, James. We both deserve toys this year. I agree, but Santa's not giving us any. Well, if Santa won't give them to us, then I say we take them. What are you talking about, James? I say you and I robbed Santa's workshop at the North Pole. James, we can't do that. You can't rob the North Pole. Sure we can. Look at this computer tablet. It has everything we need. Directions to Santa's workshop, the recipe for food that will make animals fly, and a map of Santa's workshop, so we know exactly where Santa's keeping all the toys before he delivers them. Oh, James, our parents would never let us do such a thing. They won't know. I'll tell my parents that I'm sleeping over at your house, and we'll sneak out in your backyard at night while everyone is sleeping, and we'll fly to the North Pole and steal all the toys that should be going to us instead of the bad kids like Tommy Tusco. And then we'll fly home before anyone knows we're missing. Well, how are we going to fly to the North Pole? We don't have a sleigh or reindeer. We can use your 2-person sled. But who's going to fly us? Well, it says the flying food recipe will make any animal fly. We can use your 3 dogs to pull the sled all the way to the North Pole and back. We just have to make sure we make enough food to keep the dogs fed and flying. I don't know, James. It doesn't seem right stealing from Santa. But Calbert, it's also not right that bad kids like Tommy are going to get toys this year while good kids like us don't. We're just being like Robin Hood, stealing from the naughty kids and giving them to the nice kids. With only a few days left before Christmas, Calbert didn't see any other way. Nothing he had done had gotten him off the naughty list so far, and now James wasn't getting toys either. And Calbert knew James was a nice kid and not naughty at all. Even if Calbert didn't take any toys for himself, At least he could make sure James got some toys. James and Calbert put a list together of all the nice kids they knew that deserved toys, and every single one of them was on Santa's naughty list. Even James's kid sister, Mia. James had to make sure his little sister got Christmas presents. Oh, sure, she could misbehave at sometimes, but she didn't deserve to be on the naughty list and get no toys at all. Oh, Santa, how could you be so mean, James thought. So James and Calbert decided they would steal enough toys from the North Pole to make sure all the good and nice kids they knew were going to get presents this year. Then they used the recipe to make all the flying food they would need for the dogs. They decided to test the food out on Calbert's hamster, Sir Squeaks-a-Lot, to make sure it worked. Sir Squeaks-a-Lot nibbled on the food, and then the strangest thing happened. He started to float up in the air. Calbert and James tried to grab him, but he floated up too fast and went out of their reach. Just then, they could hear Calbert's mother coming to check on them. "Calbert, James, how are you boys doing? Are you playing nice?" "Oh no, my mom is coming. If she sees Sir Squeaks-a-Lot floating in the air, she'll discover our whole plan." Again, they jumped up and tried to grab Sir Squeaks-a-Lot, but he was floating out of their reach. "I know what to do," Calbert said. Calbert took his pillow out of his pillowcase and then used the empty pillowcase as a net. Then he jumped off the bed and caught Sir Squeaks-a-Lot in the pillowcase net. Calbert then took out Sir Squeaks-a-Lot and held him tight just as his mom walked in the room. "Calbert, did I hear somebody jumping off the bed?" "It was me, Mom," Calbert said. "No more jumping on the bed, Calbert. Remember, there's still time before Christmas to get on Santa's naughty list." "Okay, Mom. Do you boys want some string cheese?" "That'd be great, Mom. Thanks." She then left the room. "Whoa, that was close, Calbert." "I know. Well, at least we know the flying food works." James and Calbert continued with their plan. James got permission to sleep over at Calbert's house. They saved all the snacks they could so they would have something to eat on their trip to the North Pole. Then they got their warmest winter clothes together and found great big bags that they could put all the stolen toys in for the good little boys and girls. Then the big night came. James and Calbert waited in Calbert's room until they were sure Calbert's parents were asleep. Then they snuck into the backyard where they hooked up the sled to the 3 dogs. They made sure they had the food and water on board for the trip, along with the bags for the toys. Then they got their winter clothes on so they would be warm. Calbert then looked at James and asked him if he was sure they wanted to do this. Let's check the list one more time. Maybe we're on the nice list after all." They checked it again, but they were both still on the naughty list. "Yes, I'm sure. Let's do it. Let's rob the North Pole." They then took out some flying food and started to let the dogs eat it. Then James got on the sled and strapped in. "Hurry up, Calbert, get on the sled before the dogs start lifting up." "Wait, I have to do one more thing." Calbert ran inside to put a letter he had written to his mom and dad on his empty bed. The letter explained everything they were doing, just in case they got in trouble and didn't make it back. He wanted his parents to know where they could look for them. If everything went to plan, Calbert would just throw the letter away without his parents ever seeing it. But there was a problem. Calbert couldn't find the letter he wrote. He was sure it was in his pocket, but with all their last-minute preparations, it must have fallen out somewhere in the house. Just then, Calbert looked out the window to the backyard. He could see the dogs starting to lift off the ground. Oh no, they were going to leave without him. There was no more time to look for the letter. Calbert had to get on that sled or James was going to fly off to the North Pole without him. Calbert raced outside the house, but the sled was already in the air. James held his hand out for Calbert. "Quick, jump, Calbert." Calbert leaped into the air and grabbed James' hand as the sled went higher and higher into the night sky. James then pulled Calbert up on the sled. "Whew, that was close," James said. "Okay, let's go. Let's go to the North Pole and get some presents." They pushed the Go to the North Pole button on the computer tablet and the sled raced off with the dogs pulling it north toward Santa's workshop. James and Calbert got a great view of the city they lived in as they flew along. "Hey, that's my house," James said. "I can even see my kid sister Mia's bedroom window." Just then, Mia was trying to go to sleep in her bedroom when she looked out her window and saw her brother James waving at her from the sled. Mia waved back confused. Wait, I must be asleep, Mia thought, because I'm having a crazy dream that my brother James is in a flying sled with Calbert being pulled by 3 flying dogs. Mia then closed her eyes and went to sleep, thinking she was already dreaming. James and Calbert left their town and were soon flying over big cities that were lit up by millions of lights. Then they flew out over the ocean, occasionally seeing the lights of ships that were way down below. They watched on the map on the tablet as they got closer and closer to the North Pole. They could feel the air getting colder, and when they looked down, they could see big, huge icebergs now floating below them. "We're getting close, Calbert," James said. "Look at all the ice below us." "I can see it," Calbert said, but he could also see the dogs were getting tired and they weren't flying as fast as or as high as they had been. Calbert told James, "Maybe we should land on one of the big icebergs and let the dogs rest for a while and feed them some more flying food so they don't run out of flying energy." "Good idea," James said. They landed the sled on a big white iceberg and let the dogs rest. James poured some food in the bowls for the dogs and let them eat it. James and Calbert then used the break to eat some snacks and drink some water themselves. "Look at all this snow, Calbert. We could have a heck of a snowball fight here." "There's no time for snowballs now, James. We have to get to the North Pole and back before anyone knows we're missing." "Oh, I think we have time for one snowball, don't we?" "Okay, we each get one shot, but that's it." Calbert went first. James tried to duck out of the way of the snowball, but the snowball hit him in the back. "Oh, that does it, Calbert. I'm going to get you good. Here it comes." James rolled up a snowball and threw it at Calbert. Calbert ducked his head at the last second, and the snowball whizzed past him. "Ha, you missed." Then they heard the snowball smack something. "Well, I hit something, Calbert." Then they heard a loud roar, and out of the darkness lumbered a big, white polar bear with a freshly smashed snowball on his nose. "Oh no, you hit a polar bear. We have to get out of here." They grabbed the flying food and the dog food bowls and got back on board the sled. "Mush, dogs, mush." The dogs took off in the air just as the polar bear got to where they were. The polar bear swung its big paws at them, but they were up too high. "Missed us," James yelled down at the polar bear. But just then, a little bit of the flying food fell out of the sled and landed down by the polar bear. The polar bear ate the tiny bit of flying food and then started to lift up in the air. "Oh no," Calbert shouted. "The polar bear is flying after us. Faster, dogs, faster." The polar bear was gaining on them, huffing and puffing all the way. It got so close that when the mighty polar bear roared, they could feel the sound of the roars rumbling through them. "Faster, dogs! You have to go faster!" James yelled. The polar bear opened its wide mouth, anticipating a nice midnight snack. But then he started to fall away, back towards the ground as the flying food it had eaten started to wear off. Soon the polar bear was all the way back down on the iceberg, and James, Calbert, and the dogs were safe again. They flew safely through the dark night until they saw a distant light on the horizon. They could tell from the computer tablet's map where that light was coming from. It was Santa's workshop at the North Pole. They flew closer until they could see it in all its grand wonder. Bright, colorful Christmas lights, the smell of Christmas treats and hot cocoa in the air, and the sound of hundreds of elves busy making toys. Because they had the computer tablet, they could tap in and see all the security cameras at the North Pole. They watched the elves building all the toys until they heard a whistle blow. Then the head elf spoke up. "That's it, elves. We just finished building the very last toy for Christmas this year. Santa and Mrs. Claus want to reward you all for your hard work with some Christmas treats and hot cocoa in the Great Hall." The elves cheered with excitement as they all left the workshop and headed towards the Great Hall for the Christmas treats and hot cocoa with Santa. James and Calbert watched as the last elf put the very last toy on the shelf and then headed out the door. "This is our chance, Calbert. While the elves are celebrating with Santa, we can go in the toy shop and steal all the toys we need." But Calbert was hesitant. "I don't know, James. This just doesn't seem right, stealing from Santa at the North Pole. I know it seemed like a good idea at the time, but now that we're here, it just seems wrong." "Calbert, we came all this way. We can't just turn around and go back with nothing. What about all the good little boys and girls we know? Don't they deserve toys this year?" "Oh, I guess they do. Come on, Calbert, we're wasting time. Get the sacks," James said. Calbert and James grabbed the sacks and went into the toy shop. On the shelves were millions and millions of toys the elves had been building all years. Toys for as far as you could see. "See, look at all these toys, Calbert. Nobody's going to miss the few toys that we take." As James and Calbert went down the shelves, Calbert noticed something on each toy. Each toy had a child's name and address on it. "James, each one of these toys belongs to someone. If we take that toy, then that child doesn't get a gift." "But you saw the nice list, Calbert. All those kids were terrible. Tommy and all his bully friends were on it." "Well, maybe Santa has a reason for having them on the nice list." "I'm sorry, James, but I can't do this. I can't steal from Santa, or these kids won't get any toys." "Well, I can't," James said. "I've been good all year, and I deserve a toy." James then took a toy off a shelf. "And I don't care if some other kid doesn't get it." Then James read the name that was on the toy. "I mean, why should I care if Mia doesn't get her toy?" Wait, did he just read that right? James read the name on the toy again. Yup, the toy was going to Mia. It was his own sister's name and home address on that toy. "Oh my goodness," James said. "I was going to steal my own sister's toy." Well, Calbert then spoke up. "That's my point, James. All these toys belong to little boys and girls, and it doesn't matter if you don't know the child it belongs to or if it belongs to your very own sister that you love so much. Stealing a toy meant for someone else is just wrong, no matter who it's going to, and I can't do it." After James thought about what Calbert had said, he put Mia's toy back on Santa's shelf. "Neither can I," James said. "I can't steal the toys anymore either." "So what do we do now, Calbert? Just go home empty-handed?" "Actually, James, I do know one thing we have to do." "What's that, Calbert?" "We have to give Santa back his computer tablet." In the great hall, all the elves and Santa and Mrs. Claus were celebrating the end of making all the toys. Soon they would have to start loading up all the millions of toys and preparing to deliver them, which was going to be a major undertaking. But for now, they had a few moments for all the elves to celebrate. Well, all the elves were celebrating but one. Skransky the elf was sad. He had hoped to really help Santa out this year by building Santa his computer tablet that would help speed things up. But Santa lost the tablet, and when they went back looking for it at night, they could never find it. After a few weeks of trying, they just gave up. So it looked like the tablet was going to be lost forever. Santa told Skransky, while he appreciated his efforts to make his job easier, he was okay with just doing things the old-fashioned way, like he had always done. Just then, the doors to the great hall opened wide, and everyone stopped in astonishment. All the elves were in the great hall, so who could it be opening the doors then? They looked in the doorway, and there stood James and Calbert holding Santa's lost computer tablet. Santa and Mrs. Claus stood up in amazement. "Who are you children?" "I'm James, and this is my friend Calbert, the nicest kid in the whole wide world." "Santa," Calbert said, "I believe this computer tablet is yours." Skransky the elf lit up when he saw Calbert holding the tablet. "The tablet! You found it!" Skransky shouted. Skransky ran up to Calbert and grabbed the tablet from him. "And it still works! Ha! It still works!" "Look at you boys," Mrs. Claus said. "Let's get you in here and warm you up." Mrs. Claus then guided the shivering James and Calbert into the great hall and gave them some hot cocoa and Christmas sweets. "You boys came all the way to the North Pole to give me back my tablet?" Santa asked. Calbert shook his head. "No, Santa. We came here to rob the North Pole and steal toys." The elves and Santa were shocked. "You were gonna do what?" "Well, what did you expect us to do?" James said. "We've been good all year, and you kept us on the naughty list. It isn't fair. And then bad kids like Tommy Tusco that bullies and steals from us, he gets put on the nice list. Can you blame us for trying to rob you in order to get some toys?" "What are your names, young men?" Santa asked them. James and Calbert told Santa their names, and Santa checked his list. Not the list on the computer tablet, but his old-fashioned paper roll of names that went on forever and ever. But no one knew how to find a name on that rolled-up paper list quicker than Santa, and he found both of their names in no time. "Ah, yes, I've found both of your names, and they're both on my nice list." "What? I don't understand," Calbert said. "Your tablet said we were on the naughty list." "Nonsense, Calbert. Why, I'm looking at some of the nice things you've done on this list, and it seems like you're one of the nicest kids in the whole wide world." Then Skransky showed James and Calbert the tablet. "Sorry, guys, there was a glitch in the programming, and the naughty and nice list got switched, and before I could fix it, Santa lost the tablet. See, all the kids on the nice list were showing up on the naughty list, and all the kids on the naughty list were showing up on the nice list. It was just a simple coding error that would only take me 2 seconds to fix. See, look up your names now." After Skransky fixed the list, Calbert took the tablet from him and typed his name in, and there it was, Calbert Collins, the nice list. James then typed his name in, and he was on the nice list too. "So all this time we were worried for nothing?" Calbert asked. "We were going to get toys all along?" "Well, you were planning to rob my toy workshop. That's not very nice," Santa said. Calbert and James looked ashamed. "But you didn't. You told me the truth, and you gave me back my computer tablet. All in all, I'd say you boys did okay. And now we have to get you home safely." But then the head elf spoke up. "Santa, there's no time for you to take them home now and still get the sleigh ready for all the Christmas deliveries. The boys will just have to go home after Christmas." "Why, we can't keep these boys at the North Pole until after Christmas. Their parents will be missing them terribly," Mrs. Claus said. "But if Santa takes them home," the head elf said, "there's a chance Christmas won't happen on time and millions of children will wake up disappointed on Christmas morning." "Wait!" Skransky shouted as he stepped up with his computer tablet. "Maybe there's not enough time to do it the old-fashioned way, but Santa, I promise you, if you use my tablet this Christmas and all the improvements I made, you can take James and Calbert home and still make all the Christmas deliveries on time." Santa thought about it. He had to get James and Calbert home to their families, but he also wanted to make sure there were no delays for Christmas. Skransky's tablet was the only way. "Okay, Skransky, we'll try your tablet, but I want you by my side all night long on Christmas to make sure I use this thing the right way. This year, you're going to be my #1 helper elf." "Me? Your #1 helper elf?" "You got it, Santa," Skransky said proudly. Skransky, Santa, James, and Calbert loaded up all 3 of Calbert's dogs onto Santa's sleigh, along with their sled. Skransky used the tablet to help guide Santa back to Calbert's house. They landed on the roof, and Santa helped the boys go down the chimney with them. "Now listen, boys. You promise you will never tell anyone exactly where my secret workshop is located on the North Pole. And also promise me you'll continue to be 2 good boys that you've always been." "We promise, Santa. Thank you for bringing us home," Calbert said. "I hope we didn't ruin Christmas for everyone." "Well, boys, you'll just have to find out if there are Christmas presents under your tree on Christmas morning. Thank you both for bringing me back my tablet. Now get some sleep before you have to wake up in the morning. You've both had very long nights." They watched as Santa went back up the chimney. Then Calbert and James snuck back into Calbert's room and went to sleep. In the morning, James went back home to his own family, and Calbert was in his bedroom playing when his mom and dad walked in. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad." "Calbert, what did you and James do last night?" Uh-oh. Calbert thought about making up a lie or just saying they didn't do anything but sleep. But instead, he decided to tell his parents the truth. "Mom, Dad, 2 months ago, I found Santa's computer tablet in one of our bushes, and I saw I was on the naughty list, and nothing I did was getting me off. So James and I used the flying food recipe we found on the tablet to feed our dogs and fly us to the North Pole so we could steal toys. But once we got there, we decided it was wrong to steal from Santa or anyone else, so we gave Santa back his tablet, and then he flew us home. Now hopefully there's still enough time for Santa to pack up all the millions of toys at the North Pole and deliver them all on Christmas on time. We know, Calbert, Calbert's dad said, and then he held up the letter that Calbert had dropped that night, just in case they had gotten into trouble and couldn't make it back home. We found your letter, Calbert, on the kitchen floor. They handed Calbert back the letter, but instead of being mad, Calbert's mom and dad started to laugh. Calbert, you have such a creative imagination, his mom told him. And you're a good storyteller too, Calbert. I really believed you thought you went to the North Pole. But I did, Mom and Dad. I don't want to lie to you. We really went to the North Pole. I want to tell you the truth, like I always do. Calbert, the truth is, not only are you one of the nicest kids in the world, you're starting to become one of the most creative kids as well. Keep making these stories up. Your mom and I just love hearing them. Calbert felt much better. He had told his mother and father the truth about what had happened, about what he and James had done. If they didn't want to punish him, well, that was up to them. All Calbert had to worry about now was if Christmas was going to happen on time. Would Skransky's computer tablet save Christmas or not? Christmas Eve, Calbert and his parents put out cookies and milk for Santa by their Christmas tree, which had nothing underneath it. But Calbert worried if anyone would come that night and eat the cookies and drink the milk that they had left out and leave presents behind under the tree. Eventually, Calbert drifted off to sleep in his bed, dreaming about flying dogs and polar bears, about millions of toys on endless shelves, and the joyful elves making them all, of hot cocoa and tasty Christmas treats made by Mrs. Claus, and of flying with Santa in his amazing sleigh. And then Calbert woke up. It was Christmas morning. But had Christmas actually come? Calbert raced downstairs, and under their Christmas tree were dozens of Christmas presents. Calbert was happy that he got Christmas presents, but he was even more happy that kids all around the world would be waking up to Christmas presents under their tree too. He and James hadn't ruined Christmas by delaying Santa at the North Pole after all. Nope, Christmas had come and it was better than ever. Way to go, Skransky, Calbert said to himself. Way to go. Merry Christmas, Calbert. Calbert turned around and saw his mom and dad walking down the stairs. Merry Christmas, Mom and Dad. The presents are here. I didn't ruin Christmas after all. Ruin Christmas? Calbert's dad asked. Calbert's mom and dad hugged Calbert and told him what mommies and daddies feel all over the world about their own children. Calbert, it's not presents that make Christmas so special. It's you. It's us. It's having a good heart and being nice to people. And as long as we have that, Christmas will never be ruined, no matter if there are presents under the tree or not. I'm glad to know that, Mom and Dad, but since there are presents under the tree, can I please start opening them? Okay, Calbert, you've been nice all year. Open your presents. Calbert's mom and dad watched Calbert as he sat under the tree, joyfully unwrapping his Christmas presents. Then he held up a box for them. Mom and Dad, you have gifts under the tree too. His mom and dad just smiled back, looking straight at Calbert, who couldn't have been any happier. And on Christmas morning, what kid isn't? Then Calbert's mom spoke. We know we have gifts under the tree, Calbert. In fact, we're looking at the nicest gift right now. You. The end. I hope you enjoyed listening to the Naughty List and hearing about Calbert and James's adventure to the North Pole. If you could take a special trip to anywhere in the world, where would you go? Well, I hope you've been a good boy or a good girl this year and are on Santa's nice list and get everything you want for Christmas. This is the last Stories for Kids podcast for the year of 2019. We started this podcast in October 2019, and in 3 months, all you listeners out there all over the world have either played or downloaded over 1,500 episodes of a Stories for Kids podcast. Which ones do you like? Spot Dot Blot? Hardway Henry? Or do you just like hanging out with us on the fun time episodes, playing Stay or Go Away? Well, whatever you like, there'll be more podcasts coming in the year 2020 and beyond, so keep coming back to the Stories for Kids podcast. Remember, you're part of the Stories for Kids podcast club that includes kids in over 37 countries from around the world. So please keep telling your friends about Hardway Henry and Spot Dot Blot so we can keep the podcast growing. James, Mia, and I wish you all the best in 2020 and beyond. And here is your end of the podcast and end of the year sound effect.